and welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm your host. With me this evening is we're going to talk high school football this afternoon and this evening. So with me this evening is Coach Pete Nye from the Morgan School.
Hi, Coach Mezzetti.
Hi, Coach Nye. And a panel of high school experts. Gentlemen, welcome. How is everybody?
That is definitely the first time these three guys have been called experts.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was the first time these two guys have been called gentlemen. Well, that too. All right, we're going to go down. We're going to go down the table with a little bit of an introduction. Tell us a little bit about who you are, Coach.
Pete Nye, first year head football coach at the Morgan School. Thrilled to be doing it, and it's been a wonderful experience so far. Thanks for having us on the show too, Pete.
Oh, no problem, Coach.
John Lee, middle linebacker, and captain.
Right.
Gabe Erickson, I'm the running back and safety.
And you?
Mateo Zampano, I'm a wide receiver, and I'm a senior captain this year on the Morgan School.
All right. How many senior captains we got tonight?
All of us.
All three.
Yeah.
That's
Three
what I.
out of four.
We're
3 out of 4.
we're missing one.
I was going to say, who we missing?
Chucky.
Charles,
Fantastic.
QB.
So what I wanted to actually let's talk a little bit about the program in general. You guys are doing great this season.
Nice.
And did you guys think you guys were going to start out this strong?
Well, we had some big games to start the season, and we were really hyped for them. We knew coming in that we needed to be ready, and I think we performed the way we wanted to in both games, so it's pretty exciting.
We knew we were going to be solid. We just knew we had to perform, not come soft we had to come hard every single game, and we've been doing that so far.
All right. Coach, you have something you want to add?
Again, I'm a rookie, so I didn't know what to expect. I think a lot of the kids, the attendance and working out in the summer, and we did a couple passing leagues, and I didn't really know what it was going to be like until camp started. But we have a pretty good general commitment from the team.
Yeah.
Kids come out to practice and they work really hard in practice. So my hopes were very high, but my expectations were realistic. And I think they knew that, and all we want to do is perform our very best come game day. And as coaches, we just want to give them the opportunity to be successful and put them in a position to execute. And so far it's been going pretty well. Some games, a few of the games have been better than others. And,
Right. Right.
And,
Definitely.
So, but hopefully we'll just keep growing and building and keep getting better every week. Win or lose, the focus is the same.
Right.
And that is get better during the week and then do your best, when it comes game time.
Exactly. Now let's talk about expectations for this season. Tell me a little bit about each of you. Probably have different expectations for the season.
Well, yeah.
Let's talk about it.
We've gotten together every week as leaders of the team, and we've sort of come up with these goals for ourselves. And we fully, we think that we could win a state championship. We think we can do the highest of goals because we believe in each other, and we've been playing together for a long time. And I think we're ready to go for this year, and everything's been going well so far. We just got to keep it going.
Exactly. Anything you guys want to add?
Sometimes we just in teams in the past, we come out and play against hard teams really well.
Yeah.
And then we'll come to some soft team, and the first half it'll be a 6-point game instead of blowing them out.
Exactly.
We have to be consistent every single week, and it's just really important.
All right.
I think teams in our league, there are a lot of great coaches in our league, and they get their teams ready to play.
Right.
And so we can't look past anything. I think these kids have high expectations for themselves. The coaches expect them to give everything of themselves, but we in our leadership group, which we can talk about that a little bit too.
Sure,
Every
please.
Wednesday we have a leadership council that meets, and we talked about at the beginning of the season what our goals are going to be, what our game goals are going to be, and what our season goals are going to be. And these kids had a high expectation, as as they mentioned, in a state championship. But not just that, but winning season and executing certain goals on offense and defense. So there are a lot of small goals, and then there are some big goals. But we really are looking week to week. You know, I think that the hardest thing to do, especially when you're having success, is to focus week to week. And so that's our job, is to make sure that they're looking at the team in front of them, and you know, the leg of this campaign that's you know, ahead of them this week. So hopefully we can keep doing that, and then we'll continue to be successful.
All right. Now, as far as you mentioned, you have a leadership council that meets every week.
Yeah.
Tell us about it. What is it?
Well, I'll start off. You guys jump in. But there are these 4 captains, 4 senior captains, and then there are 2 leaders in each grade. So there's 2 senior leaders, 2 junior leaders, 2 sophomore leaders, and freshman leaders. So, you know, we have a council there of 12 people.
Okay.
We meet on Wednesdays, and we talk about different leadership characteristics and really teach kids how to be leaders. Because to me, I think, you know, football is such a great way to teach people. You have a lot of moving parts, and you have a lot of things that can go wrong just because you have so many moving parts. And so you do need a solid group of leaders who know how to be leaders in order to make sure that that machine is running well. So, you know, what are some of the topics we've talked about so far? Composure.
Breaking out the balls and the kicking tee.
Is something as simple as that, yeah.
Okay.
Our first scrimmage, we forgot all our footballs.
Oh no!
That was just
You know, playing with confidence and stuff like that. And
All right.
you know, as a senior, I feel privileged to be able to get these sort of, you know, ways of learning to be a leader, because, you know, this is our first chance as seniors. You know, we haven't been the oldest kids, so we haven't been leaders, or I mean, we've been leaders in our own way, but learning, you know, how to actually be a leader of a group, and it's something we're going to remember through, you know, college and wherever we go off to school or work, and something that'll benefit us, you know, that I'm thankful for.
All right. Now,
Yeah, as leaders, you know, one of the other thing is like the impression of our group. You know, we all kind of represent each other, and one of the things I'm most proud of with the kids this year is that they've kind of accepted the fact that when one person behaves a certain way, it's a reflection on all of us. So I think that's, you know, I think that they're really embracing that, and to forget the wins. Honest to God, forget the wins. When I hear that kind of stuff, and it's starting to come from the teachers within the school and people in the community, when they see the kids behaving a certain way, or making sure that each of their teammates is behaving a certain way, man, that to me, those are bigger wins than the wins on the field. So that's one of the things I'm most proud of.
all right. Now, do you guys have any expectations in the sport of football?
State championship.
Yeah, there you go.
That's probably it.
That's obviously the
It's the ultimate goal.
But
Exactly.
yeah, just going week to week and getting a W every week.
Exactly. And I think we're up. I think you guys are up to 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
3. All right. All right. So far, exactly. So far, Coach Nye, I want to ask you something. You obviously have a heck of a coaching staff behind you. Who are they?
All right. First and foremost, Pete Mezzetti comes every week. And he's by our side. Coach Pete Mezzetti, you know, I do consider you on the staff, and
I hope so.
You're so helpful. You know, you're helpful on game days for sure. But we have a kid, Nick Marullo, who was a 3-year quarterback at Hand, who I coached, who's running the offense, and then Jay Pascaloni is kind of coordinating the defense. He likes to call himself a consultant, and he's part-time. And then he pulled AJ Hill, who was another Madison kid, to help him out with that, and he's been a great asset. You know, right now he's out with the JVs, you know, holding down the fort. So we're so lucky to have him. And then we found a Clinton resident to do the offensive and defensive line. I mean, this guy fell from heaven for us. I mean, out of nowhere, he had applied for an assistant coaching position. His name is Matt Roberts, and not only does he look the part, he owns the part, and I can't imagine where we'd be without Matt Roberts and the way he coaches the offensive and defensive line. And he loves that role, you know, and he's embraced it. And these guys have really taken ownership of, you know, of their respective positions. And then certainly not lastly is Brendan Highland, who has been at Morgan. He's a Morgan grad, a Clinton resident also, and he was on the staff from previous years, and he runs our special teams. That's his, you know, that's his own, he takes ownership of the special teams. and he's been great too. And I think it was important, having Brendan, that continuity from the previous staff to our staff, I think was great. I think the kids, we kind of kept that moving from years past, so that was important to me, and I think it was important to the kids. So, great staff.
Now tell us a little bit about Coach Nye's football background, not only from Daniel Hand, but I understand there was a little bit of professional.
Yeah, I guess this is a good, I guess.
Yeah, well, let's talk about it.
I don't know. Did I give you permission to ask me about
Yes, you did.
All right.
Yes, you did.
All right, so I went to a Division III school, a small New England school, which was probably one of the greatest choices I ever made in my life.
Where'd you go?
I went to a Bowdoin College in Brunswick, Maine. It's a small NESCAC school, and it is, what a great academic institution. And I'll tell you what was great about Bowdoin, and this is not necessarily about football, but I think it is that Bowdoin's philosophy was that literary institutions are not endowed for escape for the people that are maybe wealthy enough or privileged enough to attend them.
Okay.
That you're there to be educated in order to give back to the community.
Right.
And that it's really their mantra is the college and the common good. That our job is to use our talents, our academic strengths, or perhaps even our athletic strengths, if it gives us the opportunity, to benefit our fellow man. So I think that that's probably the biggest lesson I learned through athletics and academics. There is that balance, and I'm so thankful that I selected that particular institution that had that philosophy. But going there, I didn't ever intended that I was going to play professional football. I wasn't really that good in high school, as far as speed and things like that. But because of that nesting type of institution, I was able to grow into something where I could pursue my dreams and, play 3 sports. Being in college and being able to play 3 sports is rare, but I was able to be captain of 3 sports. So that was football and indoor and outdoor track. So, and I never ran track in high school. So what a great place to be able to develop. So I did sign a contract with the New York Football Giants upon graduation, which is, think about how exciting that is, just to be graduating when someone asks you, what are you doing next year? You're like, yeah, well, I signed with the Giants last week. And granted, that was awesome. But, for me, my professional football experience was a Hard Knocks experience.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen that HBO documentary they do every year, or series that they do every year, I was one of those guys who went there, spent 3 months, went through, was in training camp. Was able to walk out into Giants Stadium with my name on the back of a Giants jersey, and that was beyond any dream that I had when I went off to college. So, of course, I was released, during the summer, just like all, many free agent rookies are, and but I learned a lot, and it was a incredible experience. So that's the end of that. People ask me about it, but it's not something that I like to.
All right.
Brag about, because it's painful every August when I watch Hard Knocks, and you see those kids get it's like, oh,
you're like,
yeah, like the dream dies, every year for me. So
exactly.
But it's great to understand that the kids, to let the kids dream. I want kids who are dreamers, and I know it looks like you guys are all getting restless over here.
No,
So you going to commercial here?
We are.
Okay, all right.
You know what? We'll be right back after a short break.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
And welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. This afternoon's topic is high school football. With me to discuss this afternoon's topic is I've got Coach Pete Nye and a couple of the guys from the Morgan School football team back. Welcome back, fellas.
Thank you.
So for our viewers and listeners just joining us, we're going to go start at the end of the table and do a brief introduction on who you are.
I'm Matteo Zampano. I'm a wide receiver and a senior captain for the Morgan School.
Gabe Erickson, I'm running back and safety, and I'm a senior captain.
John Lee, I'm a middle linebacker and senior captain.
Pete and I, rookie head coach of the Morgan School football team with a lot to learn.
No. No.
We all have a lot to learn, Pete.
We do, Coach. We do. Speaking of learning things, Coach, I was wondering maybe if we can open up this segment of the show, just talking about the football program in general. And as far as I know, you coached for another school for a bunch of years, and what lessons do you bring from point A to point B?
Man, that is a tough question.
Well, okay.
Was that an approved question?
No.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about what it means to have a program, and asking a rookie head coach, I'm probably the last person, right? I'm one of the lowest people to provide a decent answer to that. But I'll tell you what I'll start with the fact that I think that I'm very lucky to have gotten a job in a school that has such a rich tradition, academic and athletic tradition.
Yeah.
And the school's had a lot of success. Mm-hmm. If you pull off of exit 63 and you look into the Morgan School driveway, you're going to see a whole bunch of state championships listed there.
Yes, you are.
Some of the signs have been beaten up a little bit from the snow plows as they go by, but maybe with the new building we can we'll get a couple new signs out there.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, good. All right. So, but when you think about the academic tradition of the Morgan School,
yep.
A couple of those things we're trying to have nods to from our program. Just to represent our school, not just wearing the uniform, but to share with the community how lucky we are in the town of Clinton to have this school that has an alumni association.
Yep.
That it was founded in 1870. And has some of these really awesome traditions that we're trying to educate the kids in and the community with. So but as far as football goes, I think that instilling hard work and teaching the kids how to be leaders, as we mentioned before, are the cornerstone of what the operation's all about. That we're trying to produce quality citizens in their respective communities. Wherever you guys end up, the message is that these guys, their job is to be actively engaged and contribute to the society, to their respective communities and society. So in a positive way.
Right.
So I think if you start there, the football is just, is just the vine that grows off of those branches. So.
Right. Now, guys, as far as let's talk about transition to a new coach in your senior year.
Yeah, well, it's changed, definitely.
Has it? What are some of the changes been?
Well, it didn't really change all that much because I'm based on the offense and stuff, and it was kind of a familiar scheme to us. We ran the spread before, and we're running again this year, and we learned a lot with Coach Eagle, who was our old coach. But growing, and I think this year has been the smoothest transition it possibly could be. Coach and I have done a great job, hearing what we have to say and really leading us and letting us grow as leaders. I think with the leadership, learning how to be a leader and stuff like that, it's something that we've definitely benefited from this year. And I think the transition has been seamless in a lot of ways.
Okay. We're gonna go down the table and ask the same question.
Yeah. All right. It was at first I don't know. It was kind of abrupt because it happened in the spring of our junior year, going into senior year. We don't got a coach. What's gonna happen? But then once we found out Coach and I was going, and we met up with him, he just gave us all his baseline of what we're gonna do this year, and it was exciting. Finally getting back into stuff, and then. It wasn't that hard of a transition. It was pretty smooth.
Nice. John?
Well, it was a little unorganized at first. We were unsure what we were gonna get, but going into the summer, getting to the lifting and stuff, we realized we got a great coaching staff, and it was easy. Just got right into it.
Coach, you
You
have
had a
anything
great
you want?
opportunity to slam us right there. You guys had a great opportunity. to just
I'm not saying
you had an
nothing.
opportunity to air the grievances.
I'm
That's
not
it.
saying
no more
nothing.
opportunity. Yeah, I think I coach with Mike Eagle, and so when I was interviewing for the job, a lot of it had to do with the fact that one of the biggest selling points for me was that it was going to be very similar. They weren't going to have to learn a lot, and we tried to use a lot of the same terminology. Even at practice today, we were talking about putting in a new play, and we're going to call it Vancouver Can or something. And I was like, well, you don't want to do that because that was zone or something. But anyway, we try to make it as easy as possible for them so that, I understand, how difficult that it is to lose a coach, because one of the things that I think has plagued the Morgan School is that turnover of coaches in the football program. And I think Coach Eagle knew that, and I don't think he took his decision to leave lightly, for sure, because I think he did a great job with these kids, and I was handed a strong program, so and a good group of kids, who are just flourishing now. So
Exactly. Now, guys, in your first game this year, you came 10 points down to win.
Yep.
Thoughts,
Well,
feelings?
North Branford is a great team, and
Yeah.
I really don't want to play them again. But we were confident because we do 2-minute drill every day in practice. Practice coming from behind, and we're a hurry-up team, so we were right where we wanted to be. Just executed.
Yeah.
That was a wild game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
That
was.
was it.
It was a
They're a
big
great team.
confidence builder.
They are.
They got a good running back.
Shelby.
Yeah.
the quarterback took over the game,
But,
in the second half. But really, if you think about it, the offense, we scored quickly, down 10 with 5 minutes left. We scored quickly, but the D held when they needed to hold. Even though we were struggling in the second half defensively, the D held, and then it gave us an opportunity. So.
And the other thing I haven't asked yet, but I'm going to ask, we're going to stay on the topic of football. You guys going to college?
I plan to, yeah. Yep, we're going through the whole process in school
All right,
now,
the process is started.
Yeah.
I have no idea where though.
Yeah, we got our list.
gotta
We're figuring all that out now.
Look around.
Exactly. Now, from what I understand, and this is sort of going to be a fun question that we're going to ask about. You guys won the other night, right?
Yep.
And I understand you guys sang.
Yeah. Coach has us singing over.
I was gonna say, let's talk about singing. Coach, you okay down there? This
Well-
wasn't a approved question, so don't.
No, it's great. None of these questions have to be approved. It's your show.
Right.
Well, I am a rock star.
Yeah. So you think?
Okay, yeah.
You're either a rock star or a prima donna, one of the two.
Right. Well, both.
Yeah. All right.
Both. So I don't know if any of your staff was at that one.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, okay.
I was, but
All right. Well, you'll have to show them the rock bottom interview
I sort of have to.
where we promised you a new intro.
Yeah,
But,
that hasn't happened yet either,
that
but we'll
hasn't.
talk about that
Hasn't.
later.
But I got a new job, so I've been a little busy.
All right.
Okay.
Fine.
So, no, the Morgan School has an alma mater that was written by I forgot his name, but he graduated from the Morgan School in the late 19th century, then became the principal in 1899, and then they produced an alma mater in 1900. And so after wins, these guys are lucky. I was afraid that they were like, well, we don't want to win if we have to sing. So I didn't bring that up to you guys, but I was a little worried about that. I was like, oh, well, why should we even try if we have to sing in front of
Chuck was thinking it.
Yeah, I bet.
Exactly.
So, and I know some kids were hesitant about it, but the lyrics of the song say, we gain from thee learning to aid in the earning, the crown which returning we lay at thy feet. And I thought about it, like what is going to school all about except that, what does that crown represent? Not just winning a football game, but earning something for the community that we're giving back. Right. And so that's the verse I made them learn, and it's called Ave Morgan. So if you want to hear it, you have to come to a game.
Yeah, you got to come to a game.
I'm not gonna say everyone on the team is the greatest singer, but
exactly. Yeah,
but they're loud singers, and that's all that matters.
That's right. And from what I understand, there was also another tradition on Friday night after the game.
Yeah.
Saturday night.
Saturday, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The ringing of the bell.
Yeah, the original Morgan School. You guys want to talk about that? Or?
Yeah, let's talk about the bell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Morgan School bell. It's outside of the
gymna-
auditorium there.
Yep.
And we had a little mallet, and all the seniors would bang and ring the bell and
three
three
times.
times.
Exactly.
Three wins.
The 3 wins, and yeah, it was kind of cool.
I mean, what an amazing sound.
Yeah, it was. It was
Oh,
really
what a
very
great
cool
sound.
sound too.
Coach wanted us to be careful though.
Yeah. You don't want to crack
You
the
know,
bell.
this speaks to the Morgan tradition. Is right, not too hard. That's all I need. I need
Yeah, right.
Is that the new buildings there's a tower that's going up. It's going to be a lantern, and it's a nod to the original Morgan School, which had a bell tower, which this bell hung in.
Okay.
And the name of our yearbook is called The Tower.
Right.
So this is one of those awesome traditions that now, I think will start, especially with the new school, that this group of seniors now, it was the first to do it, and they're going to transition to the new school, where I think every team that wins a home game, should be able to go up with that mallet and
ring the bell.
Ring the bell, at least
Right.
the seniors anyway. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Now, Coach, you have a theory that I want to talk about before we say goodnight, because we got a few minutes left in this segment. The Iditarod.
Yeah, our
Mr. Lee, you have something to add?
Yeah.
I didn't know what that meant at first when he was saying
All
that.
right.
I was like, what?
All right.
What does that mean?
So we went 2 games. I was saying I did a rod.
Yeah.
And you were like, "What is he talking?"
Yeah, what is he talking? Go ahead,
I
Coach.
thought I was being inspirational. Yeah. Well,
Coach,
the Iditarod
explain.
is a long-distance dog sled race that takes place in Alaska every year in March.
Yeah.
And so there's like 22 or 20 checkpoints. I don't really know the details of it.
Something like that.
We have 10 checkpoints that we have. That race just keeps
10
going
plus.
for, I think the record is like 8 days and 8.5 days. I think.
Something
So
like
it's between 9 and 15 days where these dogs pull this sled
Right.
across Alaska. And like I said, they have to stop at these checkpoints. We kind of look at each week as a checkpoint. That we're on that field. Those, we're harnessed up and we're pulling the sled as Huskies.
Exactly.
And so that's just kind of the way we talk about our campaign, as if it were part of the Iditarod. So.
All right. Well, gentlemen, before we say goodnight, because we don't have that much time, I just want to take a minute personally to thank you guys for coming down, and hopefully we'll do this again soon.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Hopefully
we'll do this again.
You're the best.
Thanks, Coach.
Just like to have you on the staff too.
No
So
problem.
for
Thanks,
having
buddy.
us.
On behalf of the guys, I'm the coach. Thanks, good night, and we'll see you next week.